This edition of the Cowboys Report is made possible by Rhone. We'll tell you all about them later on in today's show, but get 20% off your order by going to Rhone.com/chatsports and using code chatsports. We'll get to some bad news and some good news, some of which depends on your perspective, I suppose, for the Dallas Cowboys. Coming off back-to-back wins, you got 5 games left this season. How many more games do you honestly think the Cowboys will win down the stretch this year? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. We begin with some injury news for Tyler Guyton. The rookie left tackle, the first-round pick, suffered a high ankle sprain, he said, against the Giants, which would almost assuredly means he ends up missing time for the Dallas Cowboys, which to me is actually frustrating. The play of late, since he came back from his initial injury, I thought it actually been better. He has been the king penalty boy for the Cowboys, technically not even the state of Texas. That's been Laramie Tunsil, strangely enough, this year. The play had gotten better. The penalties were still an issue, but you're now facing another underlying issue here. He's had too many injuries this year. You took the Oklahoma left tackle knowing he was young, knowing he was raw, knowing he was toolsy, and to get the best out of him, you had to give him reps. I can't give him said reps when he's hurt. He had allowed 4 sacks in his first 5 games. It'd been 1 the past 5 games. The pressures had gone down as well. The flags had actually gone up ever so slightly. The run blocking had been better. Now you don't have a great option at left tackle, or even a good enough option at left tackle. Remember, Awesome Richards is also on IR with his own high ankle sprain. It's a bit unfortunate that your 2 best left tackles have suffered back-to-back high ankle sprains. Richards is going to miss at least 3 more games, which by then we'll see if they even try to bring him back from injured reserve. So this is what you're currently facing on your offensive line. Tyler Smith continues to play well. BB's been a solid player for a third-round rookie at center. Zach Martin has been banged up. I thought Brock Hoffman's put together 2 pretty good games in a row, by the way, at right guard. Terrence Steele actually played well again against the Giants. Doesn't override some of your bigger picture stuff. Now you got to figure out your left tackle. Do you go best 5? That's probably Tyler Smith at left tackle and TJ Bass at left guard. Or do you go to the backup Chuma Edoga, who we'll spend some time on here in just a second. But I want you to pick one guy to play at left tackle. TS for Tyler Smith, CE for Chuma Edoga. It's the pinned comment on today's show, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Edoga played 1 snap when he came in for the injured Tyler Guyton and made a penalty immediately. But I thought beyond that actually did kind of settle in and was far from a liability. I thought TJ Bass last week at left guard had a pretty darn good game. So one of those 2 guys is going to enter the starting lineup now. The question is it at left tackle or is it left guard? Tyler Smith, I think, is your best left tackle right now on the roster. So what does Mike McCarthy want to do here? And offensive line coach and football terrorist Mike Solari. I think your best 5 offensive linemen, regardless of who's at right guard, frankly, is TJ Bass, or I guess Brock Hoffman left guard, over Chuma Edoga, keep Edoga as your swing tackle, Smith at left tackle, and the youngsters at guard. Now, I say that knowing and acknowledging this coaching staff very well might have started Chuma Edoga at left tackle over Tyler Guyton before he got hurt. I don't think they wanted to have first-year players at center and at left tackle going into week 1. They've dealt with it as the season's gone on, but for some reason they've always liked Edoga, which I don't think makes any sense because I think he's a liability more than anything else. So this is absolutely something worth watching, especially because next Monday, Trey Hendrickson comes to town, who you might not know it because the Bengals have not won very many games. Even if it's terrible, he still leads the NFL in sacks this season. I don't like the idea of Edoga against Hendrickson, but I also would get a bit anxious. Maybe I'd feel better if it was Bass or Hoffman in there at left guard instead of Edoga. We'll see what happens. Today's show is made possible by Rhone. You want to look good without having to think about it, right? You want a layerable, durable, refined wardrobe. It's easy to style, exudes confidence in a wide range of social and professional settings and events. Rhone delivers in every possible way. Premium pieces to elevate every occasion. We're talking pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, polos, blazers, all boosted with functional performance properties and the world's most comfortable clothes to wear. Their signature technical fabrics stretch in every direction, breathe, fight odor and the elements, and effortlessly work together so you can stay calm and collected even when life takes unexpected turns. Dinner, drinks, office, golf course, Rhone has something for you to rock. The Commuter Collection gets you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to Rhone.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS. Save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you go to RHONE.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS. Find your corner office comfort and embody your most confident self with Rhone. Here's some good injury news. Tank Lawrence seems set to make his return to the Dallas Cowboys. Didn't think he was going to be back in time for Thanksgiving game. You might get him back, though, for the Monday game, according to Jerry Jones, quote-unquote, more than likely from old Dr. Jerry, which I will always asterisk because sometimes Jerry's not good with the medicine side of things. It's not a real doctor, after all. Tank only got to play in not even full 4 games this year with his foot injury. 4 TFLs, 3 sacks. In theory, then they will make him eligible to return from IR on Wednesday, maybe even earlier in the week with practice timing with some walkthrough stuff there. This is certainly one to monitor, though, with Tank Lawrence, because getting him back absolutely unequivocally would be a pretty big boost for a Cowboys team that kind of needs it at this time. They have managed to survive along the offensive line. That doesn't mean they've been able to, or defensive line, doesn't mean they've been able to thrive. Marshall Allen is banged up again right now. Chauncey Golston, Carl Lawson have shown some impressive stuff as of late, which I do think is noteworthy. It matters. They've Lawson's actually played pretty well on top of that, but it's not Tank Lawrence. And what is, in some ways, a double-edged sword to me, the Cowboys are finally getting healthy. And they are finally clicking on defense. It is not an accident. They've played very well since Micah Parsons came back, since they figured out some stuff with Mike Zimmer. He's done a good job. The timing is just too late. The Dallas Cowboys, as we'll get into in a minute, they missed their window. They had a chance. They'd won some key notable games earlier. They didn't take advantage of those. And now they're playing so far behind the 8 ball, it's just not very likely. We'll go more in depth on this question in just a second. But do you believe the Cowboys can make a playoff run? Why for yes and for no? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. That brings us to our 2 overreactions on Friday instead of overreaction Monday. First one is a playoff push is coming, and I don't believe that. I think it is an overreaction, even though you've seen better things, and I'm happy for the players. The locker room needed it. The coaching staff's fighting for their jobs. I get it. I'm not trying to take away anything from what they've done. But do these wins, especially a 7-point win over a bad Giant team that's kind of quit at times this year, does that really move the needle for you? Look, let's be objective here. The offense is still not good. It's not. The Cowboys are averaging 14 points per game on offense with Cooper Rush. That doesn't include the special teams touchdowns. That doesn't include the DeMarvion Overshown pick 6. It does include the 14 points they've been gifted on short fields from the defense. It does include that. The defense has played much better. They've actually been a pretty, I think, solid unit despite some fourth quarter woes they got to get figured out there. But getting healthy has helped. Getting Micah Parsons back, Deron Bland back has helped. You've seen some young players take step forwards in the past couple of games. But overall, this is not a real playoff team. They're not. We could be objective about that. You had a chance. This is why I kept saying at the last game, it's not over. Because the schedule got easy. I told you guys it was going to happen. You had chances. The Falcons, Eagles, and Texans games. Winnable games. If your offense wasn't a disaster class against Houston and Philadelphia, I think you win those games. That could have given you a chance. You're still staring down the barrel of 7 losses already. It's not going to be enough, even if you win 1 or 2 more games down the stretch here. Early lines before the Bengals play against the Steelers this Sunday, the Bengals are a 6.5-point favorite on the road. You're probably not going to win that game. On the road against Carolina, if you're coming off a loss, you might lose that game too. If you beat the Bengals, I bet you beat Carolina. You lose to the Bengals, you might lose against Carolina. Tampa might be a favorite in that game. They're going to be fighting for a playoff spot, by the way. Had things gone differently, Tampa-Dallas might have been a wild card elimination game. You might be already out of it by then. I don't think you beat Philadelphia on the road in Week 17. Who knows about Week 18? Might be playing for something, might not be playing for something. We will have a full playoff breakdown, which I can't believe we're doing, but we're going to do it on Sunday anyway. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/CowboysTV. Overreaction number 2. Mike McCarthy's going to save his job. Jerry's going to give him another year because, look, they're winning games. It's an overreaction. Good win over the Commanders. I'll give him that one. Giants, come on. They're not a good team. We know that. By the way, I don't actually think McCarthy did a good job against the Giants. I think that they just had more talent, which they haven't had a ton of games so far this season. Look, he gets some credit for the win. They held on. They got the win. Awesome. Good job, Mike. Happy for you, buddy. But, like, you didn't get the ball to Rico Dowdle in, like, the entire second quarter, even though he was cooking? Why does Rico get 22 yards and then you go pass? Why? The penalties are down the past 2 games. I can't recall the last time the Cowboys did fewer penalties than the opposing team in back-to-back games. Happened 2 weeks in a row. The aired-out game plan is weird. Why is Cooper rushing the ball 24 times in a half? It's all short stuff, too, because he can't push the ball downfield. Look, Jerry won't say McCarthy's getting let go. The next time he goes, I want to do the fan. Hey, you going to keep Mike? Hey, I'm not going to rule anything out. Because, of course, that's the answer from Jerry. Otherwise, he would have fired Mike already. He's leaving the door open because the season's not technically over yet. I mean, they left the door open for Jason Garrett while interviewing other people for his job. That happened. That was a real thing. Like, don't ignore that. We're going down the exact same path again here. So what do you think is the percent chance Mike McCarthy keeps his job as the Cowboys head coach? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. You can be honest. It's okay. Safe space to vent however you feel like you need to vent. I think there's going to be some higher answers than there should be because everyone has their trauma from previous coaching searches and their fear of Mike staying around. I'm going to be a chill guy. That's my mindset here, these final 5 games. Let's see what happens. All right? You make some miracle run, shoot, your defense must have went out of its damn mind. You should feel good about that. Here's my final answer and why I don't think this is going to change. And I'll change it if Mike wins 5 games in a row. I'm happy to do it then. What can Mike McCarthy truly do this year to show he is better than the stuff we saw the previous 3 years? 12-5, bad playoff results against good teams. You're beating bad teams right now. If we're going to make that argument in previous years, we have to make it right now. I think what likely happens here is Cowboys win 1, maybe 2 more games here. They come up short again. They finish 7 wins, 8 wins, whatever. And the answer will be, Mike's not good enough. He battled, he fought, good job. We need real change on this team. And look, if Mike had 2 more years left on his deal, I think he'd come back. But I think it's the same thing we saw last year. If Mike was out of a contract last year like he is right now, I don't think he would have been back. He's out of one right now. That changes the math game for Jerry.